So this is the big story in the news today. Protesters broke into a gated community in St. Louis and were shocked to find the homeowners who owned the mansion that they were, I guess, going to peacefully protest in front of. They were shocked to find the homeowners came outside with guns and were not happy about their lawless trespassing. The media is making this out to be that the homeowners did something wrong, broke the law. A circuit attorney in St. Louis is now investigating them and wants to get to the bottom of whether or not they broke the law. But once again, the media is not telling the true story. The left is not telling the true story. Under Missouri law, you are allowed to defend yourself and property from anyone trying to do harm to you. The minute these people burst into their gated community, and we'll see this in a second, that they actually tore down a gate to get in. The minute that happened, they lost all pretense of it being a peaceful assembly. They were trespassing. Now, when you're arguing, like, oh, it's not technically trespass because this, there was a sign that says private property, no trespassing, and they burst through the gate anyway. They lost all of the benefit of the doubt, right? And that's something the media is not reporting. This was labeled as private property. The gates were locked and closed. They burst through them anyway. So they lost all pretense that this was a peaceable assembly. But the other thing that the mainstream media is going on about is the homeowners, which we're not going to use their names. You can find them if you look online. But a lot of people are complaining that the homeowners were breaking the rules of gun ownership, which anyone who's taken a gun safety course knows that there are 4 rules. Treat all guns as if they're loaded. Never point a firearm at anything you're not willing to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger unless you're ready to fire. And know your target and what's behind it. Now, I agree that the gentleman in this scenario has good trigger discipline. He probably could have pointed the muzzle somewhere else. His wife, not so much. Her finger is firmly on the trigger, and she's definitely sweeping that muzzle at people's direction. But here's the thing. Yes, those 4 rules are great for when you're at home cleaning your gun. They are great for when you're at the shooting range shooting paper targets. In a self-defense scenario, those rules go out the window. When you are standing on your property and there is an angry mob who has just torn down a gate, trespassed on private property, and is now moving towards you and taunting you, the rule of keep your finger off the trigger, that goes out the window because there's only a couple feet in between them and the protesters. They have to be ready to fire in this instant. And the rule of don't point a gun at anything you're not willing to destroy, again, that goes out the window when you're literally trying to defend yourself and your property against people, right? You can't make the argument that they shouldn't be pointing guns at people that are threatening them. It goes out the window. This isn't a training exercise. This isn't a day at the range. This is a self-defense scenario. So they're absolutely entitled to keep their finger on the trigger. Again, they probably should keep it. She should keep it off until she's absolutely ready to fire. But the argument that she can't point a gun at someone when they would, in that very scenario, be within their rights to open fire. We'll get to that in a minute. Missouri law would have allowed them to open fire in this scenario. It's ludicrous to say that they're violating some of the gun safety rules. But I want to do a deep dive into what exactly happened, because we saw that video. We saw them come out angry. We saw the mob start taunting them, stepping foot onto their property, basically egging them on. I want to explain what exactly happened. This is a map of the community that they went into. So you can see that there's public access road, then there's a fence. And there is a gate. There's gated access into this community. The gate is locked and closed, and there's no trespassing signs on top of it. They had to bust through a gate and go onto a private access road in order to do their protest. They burst into a gated community and were shocked that the homeowners went onto their front yard with guns. So this is the gate that they went through. There's 2 pedestrian gates, and there is a street access gate. And you can't really read it here, but that is a private street, no trespassing. Now, you can argue that maybe that's not a legal sign, but for the protesters to see that and to burst through anyway, they can't act surprised when people start treating that sign as if it has force of law. Can't do it. And then we look at what actually happened, how they actually got into the community. We know that they tore down the gate. The gate was locked. They tore it down. So all of the arguments that they were peaceful protesters go out the window when they break into private property. Not only that, but they actually bust through the gate and destroy property. Again, Missouri law allows a homeowner to defend themselves, to use deadly force, not just to defend themselves, but also to defend their property. Right? That's a big difference. In Missouri, a lot of states don't have that. You can't just shoot someone for stepping foot on your property on the pretext of protecting property. In Missouri, you can. So these homeowners were within their rights. If they were within their rights to shoot because they felt threatened or they felt their property was threatened by people literally inching onto their property who just burst through a gate, if they were within their rights to open fire, which many are claiming that they would have been, thank God, cooler heads prevailed. But people are reading into the law and saying, yeah, technically they would have been within their rights. If they would have been within their rights to open fire, to investigate them for brandishing a firearm is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. And to brand these protesters as peaceful when we can see that they ignored the private street no trespassing, that they burst through a gate and actually destroyed the, looks like wrought iron gate. They destroyed it. That's not easy to do, but they destroyed it. To then present them as peaceful protesters is absolutely insane. But, I mean, that's what the media does. Media is going to make it out like these are the bad guys. Anytime a law-abiding citizen uses a firearm to defend themselves, they are considered to be the bad guys. And listen, his wife, I don't know what training she had. I don't know what kind of training she had. I don't know if she was really well trained in handling a firearm. I know personally, I wouldn't just be putting my finger on the trigger and sweeping around. That's just, I wouldn't do it. But she might not have the same training, which is okay. In a situation like this, where an angry mob is bursting into a gated community, right? It doesn't matter whether you have training or not. Get out here with me and help defend our house. So yeah, she could have done some stuff differently if I had to critique it. But in this scenario where they truly had reason to believe that their lives or property was in danger, those rules that we went over, they really do go out the window. Because when you're trying to present the point that if they take one step forward, you're going to shoot them, the argument that you can't point a gun at someone unless you're willing to destroy them, it goes out the window in a self-defense scenario. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Please do share this video since we're talking about guns. Facebook and YouTube are going to block people from seeing it. So please do hit the share button. Please do share it. Leave a comment, hit the like button. It helps us as we grow this. And let me know what you think. Do you think this was justified? Do you think the protesters were peaceful as the media claims? Or do you agree that by bursting through a locked gate, they lost all pretense of having a peaceful protest? Let me know in the comment section below.